Alright fellas, it is time for the December update of the best abilities you guys need to be using on your team in Madden 26 Ultimate Team. During the month of December, we do have the Zero Chill promo, and something really cool with the Zero Chill promo is we have these frozen Zero AP ability buckets. For those who have been around the channel for some time, you guys do know we update this video every single month, usually around the start of the month. And so yeah, we are going to have a heavy focus on the frozen Zero AP ability buckets. Of course, anything we talk about today can translate across the entire game. If a ability is good, you should use the ability. It's just kind of common sense. We'll also talk about some superstar X factors. These things really won't matter until later on in the year. I do think there are certain ones that you guys should be using, and of course we will talk about all that. Before we get any further, we do have a few quick small things we do need to go over. First things first, we are currently on the road to 20,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new to the channel and you do enjoy daily Madden 26 Ultimate Team content, I feel like you already know what to do. Go down there, drop a like. 210 likes in 24 hours will be a gift card giveaway for you guys over in my Discord. And now that we got that all out of the way, let's hop into the best abilities and I guess superstar X factors that you guys need to be using on your field today. I think the best place to get started today is going to be the quarterback position. There are definitely a few different ways you guys can go about running abilities on your quarterback. I'm just going to say it right off rip. My personal favorite ability, and this is completely biased, is Gunslinger. Gunslinger will give you faster passing animations. If you guys have ever played Madden Ultimate Team before, whether it's in 25, 24, or honestly any game that we have had abilities, Gunslinger is usually one of the better abilities to rock on your quarterback, and that is very true this year. The faster you guys can get the ball out of your quarterback's hand, the better it is going to be. What makes these frozen ability buckets so special is, for the most part, they are going to cost 0 AP. Only a few abilities don't cost 0 AP, and they're all on the quarterback side of thing. It's Roaming Deadeye, which is pretty good. We'll talk about that here in a second. It's Inside Deadeye, it's Gunslinger for 4 AP, it's Conductor for 8 AP. Conductor is an ability that a lot of the pros are a big fan of, but if you're just a casual Madden player, Gunslinger is going to be the best frozen ability bucket for you guys to run on your quarterbacks. I do like Inside Deadeye. I do like Roaming Deadeye. For me personally, out of all of the Deadeyes, I'm a big fan of Pocket Deadeye. This will grant you perfect passes while throwing from inside the pocket. Roaming Deadeye is the exact same thing as Pocket Deadeye, except outside of the pocket. Playmaker is a really fun ability as well. This gives you immediate and precise playmaker reactions. Basically, anytime you guys will playmaker a wide receiver, a tight end, or a running back, if you have this ability activated on your quarterback, any player on your field will be able to playmaker significantly faster. This is more of a comp level playstyle right here, but if you think you got what it takes, QB Playmaker is definitely a fun ability. And in the big bucket right here, we got Pass Lead Elite, Set Feed Elite. Of course, we do have Gunslinger. The reason I keep hyping up Gunslinger right now is EA just, for whatever reason, didn't give us Gunslinger for so long. It's finally here, and this is, again, my favorite ability in the entire game. Set Feed Lead, Pass Lead Elite. I am personally a bigger fan of SFL, or Set Feed Lead. This gives you increased throw power when leading bullet passes with a set feet. It gives you more velocity and allows your balls to go further. The way I kind of look at it is it's Gunslinger on steroids. We also got Master Tactician, which gives you faster bonus hot routes and quicker playmaker reactions. This ability was really good when we had this for 12 AP. This is a combination of QB Playmaker and QB Conductor. Again, going back to QB Conductor right here, it is a tier 2 ability majority of the time. This will give you faster hot routing and blocking adjustments. If you're somebody calling a million adjustments from the line of scrimmage, this is the ability you want to use. Again, this is more of a upper level, pro ability that a lot of the pros are using. And so if you want to learn the upper tier meta, this is an ability that you probably should begin to learn. And of course, it does cost you 8 AP on any of the frozen ability quarterbacks. For me personally, right now, my favorite quarterback stack is Gunslinger for 4 AP, Pocket Deadeye for 6 AP. A bulk of your AP right now, we have 15 on offense and 17 on defense, should be spent on your quarterback. That's usually the way Madden is going to play out. Now, when it comes to the best X factors, there's only 2 that I am a fan of: Dots and then Gambit. Right now, I probably should be using Gambit. Gambit gives you faster throwing animations. Again, going back to Gunslinger, you want to be able to get the ball out of your hands fast. Those nano blitzes, trust me, I get it. You guys activate Dots. This gives you perfect passes on any throw. So Pocket and Roaming Deadeye tied into one. I'm not opposed to using Run and Gun, grants perfect passes while on the run. If you are somebody who throws on the run a lot, this is a fun ability to activate. But again, activating these abilities are really, really difficult when it comes to the X factors. Let's talk wide receivers, because during the Zero Chill promo, we are going to see a lot of top tier wide receivers like this Chad Johnson right here. Out of the frozen 0 AP ability buckets, my personal favorite is Human Joystick. This allows you to have quicker turning and change of direction. This is an after the catch ability that, if you've seen people get sticky on the sticks, this is the ability that you want to use. I've kind of seen a movement recently for short and elite. This gives you improved catches on short passes inside the numbers. So think slants, think drags. If you run a lot of slants and drags to this one specific receiver, like short and elite for 0 AP is not a bad ability. Mid-out elite is more for corner routes. Mid and elite is more for post routes. Between the two on wide receivers, for me personally, I throw more post routes to my wide receivers rather than corner routes. I throw a lot of corner routes to tight ends, so mid-out would not be something I use on wide receivers. I would probably use mid and elite. So two more wide receiver abilities I would even consider running. Slot-o-matic gives you better cuts and catches on short slot routes. So if you have a designated slot wide receiver, you have some AP to spare. It's not a bad call right here. Personally, again, I'm running human joystick on every single wide receiver. After the catch right now has been really, really fun. I don't hate balance beam, especially if you guys have one AP lying around on offense. This ability allows you to avoid stumbling as a ball carrier. It's just something to help you with human joystick, allow you to get a little bit quicker turns, a little bit quicker cuts after the catch, get sticky, break off those long runs. The final wide receiver ability I would even consider running right now is Route Technician. As of this very moment, it is really expensive to fit on your field. Since we do have these frozen 0 AP abilities, I could see Route Technician slowly make its way back up to the top of the meta. It gives you quicker cuts while running routes. It's basically a combination of mid in, mid out, short in, short out, all of those abilities we just talked about. That is Route Technician tied into one. We also have short elite, mid elite, and deep elite. For me personally, Route Technician is better than all of those. These give you improved catching on short passes, medium passes, and, well, deep passes. I think getting open is more important than actually coming down with the ball. Wide receivers are not dropping passes in this game. And, of course, we do have Slot-O-Matic right here, which for 3 AP, I personally wouldn't use. Even if you have a designated slot wide receiver, it just costs too much AP for me personally. And then when it comes to the best X factor to run on wide receivers, I mean, Double Me is fun. It gives you aggressive catch wins for single coverage. We got Rack 'em Up, we got Yak 'em Up. I mean, as of right now, like, Double Me is probably the one you will see a majority of people running. You got a really tall wide receiver like a Randy Moss, a Dante Thornton, toss a Double Me on them. Again, it really won't activate too often, but when it does activate, it'll be pretty cool. Bouncing around a little bit, let's talk about the offensive line, because there are 3 offensive line abilities you guys need to consider running. I guess there are more than 3. I'll kind of walk through the big ones, but there are 3 right now, and I'll make sure to highlight them that you're going to want to run, especially if you have no idea what to run. First up, post up. This is not one of the big 3. This gives you dominant when engaged double team blocks. It's cool if you have some AP to spare. It'll be better once we have more 0 AP abilities. The first of the big 3, Run Protector. Stronger protection versus quick run block shed moves. If you are somebody who runs the football a lot, go build an entire 0 chill offensive line and toss on Run Protector. It's going to be gross. Nasty Streak gives you dominant impact block wins versus DBs and LBs. It's cool. It's not that good. The second of the big 3 is going to be Pass Protector. This gives you stronger protection versus quick pass block shed moves. If you are somebody who majority throws the football, then Pass Protector is what you want to use between the 2, Run Pro and Pass Pro. For me personally, I am a Pass Pro guy. Identifier is cool. I don't think you need it right now. This will show you what defender your opponent is using. Edge Protector will be better later down the line, maybe sometime during this month. This gives you stronger pass protection versus elite edge rushers. We don't have edge threat elite in the game right now as a meta, so I don't think that's something you need. Linchpin gives you stronger blocking from all offensive linemen. This is the final of the big 3. You only need to run 1 linchpin on any offensive lineman. So for me personally, I'm running it on my 0 chill right guard, and my entire offensive line is receiving stronger blocking from all offensive linemen. That sounds pretty good. It's the meta, and if you have the ability to run it, I would highly recommend. Threat Detector isn't really good right now. I wouldn't consider using it. You also can't get it for 0 AP as of this very moment. So even there, it's not something I would consider. And that's honestly pretty much everything when it comes to the offensive line. Run Protector, Pass Protector, and then, of course, 1 linchpin to boost up your entire offensive line. All right, let's talk running back right now. And there's a few abilities on a running back that I would consider. We're going to use top 100 AJ Dillon for the example, starting with the X Factor. Honestly, the only one I would consider using right now is going to be Freight Train. Odds are you probably won't ever activate this, but if you do, this gives you an increased chance to break the next tackle. It's a little juiced up. Now in the frozen 0 AP abilities, there's a few on a running back that I would consider. The big one for me is going to be Human Joystick, just like wide receivers. I'm going to spoil it right now, just like the tight ends. Human Joystick is my favorite offense ability, not named Gunslinger. Bulldozer gives you more powerful truck animations. It's cool on a power back, not something I would consider running. Playmaker is something we didn't talk about wide receivers. If you want to use Playmaker, I would use QB Playmaker. QB Playmaker gives you the exact same effect, so like gives you faster playmakers on the specific player. If you use QB Playmaker on your quarterback, this will apply to every single offensive player on your field. If you just use Playmaker, it's only going to count towards that one specific player. For 0 AP, it's cool. For the normal 3 AP it cost, I wouldn't consider running it. Grab and go is cool. If you throw the ball to your running back a lot, I don't think it's worth it. Again, human joystick is the best of the after the catch abilities. Evasive is a cool ability as well. Not something that I personally have been using much this year just because it does cost 3 AP, and AP is very tight. But this gives you better spin and juke moves. And then finally, when it comes to the abilities, Tank is a good time. This allows you to break hit stick tackles. If you've never used Tank, it's definitely worth a go. This is one of those abilities, as soon as it starts to get more discounted as we go throughout the game, it's going to become super, super annoying. Out of the tier 1 abilities, because if you have 1 AP lying around and you don't want to run a balance beam, which just like the wide receivers, balance beam is also going to be good on running backs. It's right here. It helps with human joystick. I don't hate the idea of Energizer or Recuperation. These are the abilities that gives you more stamina. So right here is Recuperation, and then Energizer basically helps you replenish stamina after successful skill moves. So if you are somebody who runs the football a lot, that's not a bad idea to consider for 1 AP. I personally wouldn't run it on any other offensive player just because you're probably not spamming them the football as much as you might be with your running back. And then that does leave us off to the tight end position, which between you and me, the best abilities to run on your tight end are the exact same things as wide receivers. For me personally, I throw a lot of corner routes to my tight end. That's kind of like my go-to when I need to play. Corner route is coming out to my tight end. That is exactly what mid-out elite is going to help on. We'll give you improved catching on medium passes. Short and elite is decent if you run a lot of slants and drags to your tight end. Mid and elite is better for post. A lot of the pros like Playmaker on their tight end. That is because at least the meta was before 0 chill. It was a set feet lead and then a 3 AP Playmaker on their tight end because they're Playmakering their tight end off a drag on a good portion of their plays. I don't think that's going to be as prominent anymore just because now we're into 0 chill. It's easier to fit a QB Playmaker on your field nowadays, so it's not necessarily something that needs to be ran. And of course, again, just like we talked about with the running backs or the wide receivers, this specific Playmaker right here will only affect this specific player. If you want to have the Playmaker ability, find a way to get QB Playmaker on your field. We talked about human joystick a ton. Bulldozer's cool. You're probably never going to use it. I had it on my Hunter Henry for a day, and I was like, this is a cool ability, but he's just not getting the ball enough for it to actually make an impact. I think human joystick is going to be the go-to option. Out of the X Factors, Vanguard will be fun later down the line. If you want to do Vanguard, this gives you dominantly wins on impact blocks. If you've played any endgame Maddens, just get ready for Vanguard. Of course, we do have Double Me right here, which is probably the best one on the tight ends. Realistically, you're not running an X Factor on your tight end. You're going a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a running back. If you are somebody who does throw the football to your tight end more than any other player on your field, and the Double Me option is going to be the way to go. All right, let's talk defensive line abilities right now because there is one defensive line ability that is just going to be better than the rest. I'm going to do this on my Zadarius Smith because this card, I'm telling you guys, one of the best cards I have used all season. I mean, look at this dude right here, and then, yeah, you guys can kind of put 2 and 2 together. The only defensive line ability you need to be using right now is going to be Double or Nothing. This is actually the most impactful defensive ability we have in the entire game. Before we got to 0 chill, 12 of my 17 ability points were spent on Double or Nothings across all 4 of my defensive linemen. Between your defensive tackles and your edge rushers, Double or Nothing is actually the only thing you need to be running. El Toro, Instant Rebate, BOGO, those were abilities that were good. The meta has switched up a little bit. Double or Nothing, this is the ability and the only ability you need to be running on your defensive lineman. I honestly don't recommend anything else. The rest of your defensive AP needs to be spent on the secondary, but Double or Nothing needs to be on every single one of your defensive linemen. When it comes to the X Factors, I mean, Fearmonger's pretty solid. Unstoppable Force is going to be the best, but again, you're probably not activating these too much. But if you want to do something, Unstoppable Force is going to be the go-to option. Again, Double or Nothings qualify for edge rushers and defensive tackles. I'm not going to show you guys a defensive tackle because it's literally the exact same ability. And I'm telling you, that is the only thing you need to run as of this very moment, nothing else is going to be worth it. On cornerbacks, this is going to be where every single one of your X factors is going to be put, and it will be universal coverage across the board. This will give you improved coverage and catch knockouts and man and zone coverage. We're about to talk about man and zone KOs. Universal coverage is every single one of those tied into one, and the way you guys activate it is either by forcing incompletions or getting an interception with that defensive back. It is the most easily activated defensive X factor, and it actually is the best. Now, on the frozen ability buckets for defensive backs, for me personally, I'm a big mid-zone KO fan. This gives you improved reaction and catch knockouts in mid-zones. I think this is the best of any of the KOs or knockouts in the entire game. We got deep out zone KO, which basically does the exact same as mid zone, except in deep out zone, so kind of specific. I would run this on a safety. We also have deep in zone right here, which gives you the exact same thing as mid zone KO, except it's doing it in zone coverage and middle deep zones. Again, probably something you want to run on a safety. Flat zone KO is actually half decent, especially on somebody who you have playing in your hard flats a lot of the time, maybe like a slot defensive back. This gives you improved reactions in the flat zones. Again, a more slot DB type of ability. And then, of course, we do have the man KO, so medium route, short, and deep route KO. These are the exact same things as the zone KOs, but if you run a lot of man coverage, you should be running the man KOs. But if you are somebody who runs a lot of man coverage, I would personally be running inside shade. This gives you faster reactions to receivers' cuts inside the numbers, especially if you are somebody who is playing a lot of the event right now. I don't know what the event is going to look like later in the month of December, but basically the way the event is playing out, the outsides of the field, your receivers are dropping the ball a lot because there's a ton of snow coming down on the field, so people are trying to avoid the outer halves of the field, so they're forcing everything inside. If you have inside shade, this is going to give you faster reactions and cuts to people cutting inside the numbers. It's kind of a little bit cheesy right now. It is really expensive to run if you don't want to run it for 0 AP. I'm personally not doing that right now, but if you want to, I do not blame you. The other ability I don't hate is One Step Ahead. I take that back. There are 2 more defensive back abilities I don't hate. One Step Ahead gives you faster reactions to receivers' cuts and man coverage. It's really, really good. It's cost you 5 AP, but if you are somebody who has 5 AP to spare and you run a ton of man coverage, it's not a bad idea. I will say it's really hard to get 5 AP to spare right now. Pick Artist is the final defensive back ability I would consider running right now. This gives you better catching and improved stamina on interception returns. If you've played Madden before, drop picks are a big issue. Pick Artist is usually a very important ability. Not as good as years past, but still an ability you should be running. I'm going to mention Stonewall right here. This will prevent additional yardage gains while tackling. Stonewall does not activate on knockouts or KOs. It might look like it's activating, but I promise you guys it's not. All this does is it stops your opponents from falling forward. If you have a DB who you continuously keep seeing giving up extra yardages and losing tackle battles, Stonewall's not a bad idea to toss out there. I was using the ability for a minute until we got to 0 chill, and I could start tossing on more Pick Artist because, in my opinion, it's mid-zone KO, and then it's got to be a Pick Artist. And last but certainly not least, we do have the linebacker room. As of this very moment, I think the 2 big linebacker abilities you guys should be running are going to be Lurk Artist, which gives you improved and spectacular picks for lurking defenders. You're going to want to use this on the player that you user on in your box. So for most people, they're sub linebacker, whether it's a safety, whether it's a linebacker like my London Fletcher right here, that is what you are going to want to run. And then it is going to be mid-zone KO, which of course London Fletcher does not get because he is not an outdated card, but he just doesn't get it because he did not drop during the 0 chill promo. The 0 chill linebackers are going to get mid-zone KO, and all of the season 4 linebackers, so just Nick Bolton, they're going to have 0 AP mid-zone KO, which if you're using a linebacker as a user, majority of the time you're going to be using on the middle of the field in the frozen 0 AP ability bucket slot right here, which of course it just doesn't want to let me get there. He's going to have mid-zone KO, which makes this Nick Bolton card very, very usable. And again, I wouldn't use any X factors on linebackers. All 3 of your X factors need to be universal coverages on your corners or your safeties. With that said, boys, are the best abilities to be using in Madden 26. If you guys did enjoy this video, go down there and drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and go down there and comment down your favorite 0 chill emoji to, well, let me know you guys made it this far. I love you guys, and until later, peace. Have a great Sunday. I'll get the boys back here later.